What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is the old broke down backhoe. Late 80s, early 90s Massey Ferguson 50HX backhoe. Great machine, but it leaks, I mean, worse than a pool with 10 holes. I kind of hacked my way in here. Come on, baby. There it is. There's my blue mark. The jumper pack on the battery leads. I see right off the bat, this tire is off the bead. Starting to get out of the dirt a little bit. Here's our new inner tube. So I'm getting bubbles right there out of the... And then this is the shutoff shaft to place these two O-rings. I don't think I've got hydraulics at all. Well, we got it here. That square should be bolted to that pulley. Bingo. There's our plate. So, got 2 open holes now, 2 more to go. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how that's supposed to be put together. Well, it's official, we have hydraulics, yes! Downside is, pretty much every cylinder on the backhoe needs to be rebuilt. This one is leaking there. This one is leaking. That one's definitely leaking there. Not as bad as that one over there. We need to jump right into figuring that out. It took me 10 gallons of hydraulic fluid to get it into the shop because it was leaking hydraulic fluid so quick. All right, here's where the main issue lies. These two are the swing cylinders, and they allow the arm to swing side to side. They leak so bad that I probably had to empty this bucket twice and before it stopped. And obviously these are at almost one of the lowest points in the hydraulic system, so it literally leaks out all the hydraulic fluid. So we need to get this cylinder out and that cylinder out, or get them loose and pull out the actual ram itself and leave the cylinder installed. That's what I'm gonna probably try and do. We'll see if it's possible. At some point, we're gonna need to do quite a few hoses, but at this moment, we're gonna focus on getting these 2 cylinders rebuilt. The other thing, that cylinder leaks, and then this cylinder leaks. So the other 2 things is these 2 outriggers, they both leak. There's one more cylinder right here, and I don't know how good or bad it is. It's tucked up in the arm, and so, you know, my plan is going to be to get that lower cylinders fixed, maybe even these 2 upper ones, and then extend the boom out, set it down so that I can pull that cylinder out of the middle. I absolutely should have pressure washed the heck out of this before I did this. Or before I put it in the shop. I didn't. Oh well, I'm not going to waste another 10 gallons of hydraulic fluid to start working on this. Let's start by cleaning, and then we'll go from there. If you've never had a really good pair of work pants, these Blaklader work pants are awesome. I wear them in most every one of my videos. One cool feature they have is insertable knee pads. And they've got a little pocket here. You slide these up in there. Get it all the way in, and there's a little flap that you can fold down around it to keep it from falling out. Now, I used to run a landscape design and construction business. So we did a lot of patios and different things where you're down on your knees a lot. And so one of the things I know about knee pads is they absolutely suck when that strap is cutting into your knee. Both up here, usually the lower one, you're bending your knee, you get all kinds of worn out there. This doesn't have any kind of strap. It literally just sits in the pocket. And then boom, you got a knee pad. So much better. I am not as young as I once was. I'm not old by any means, but my knees are starting to feel it. And so these are a great addition. Now, one thing you might say is, oh, well, you're going to wear out that knee. I'm wearing the knee out anyway. It doesn't matter if I put the knee pad in there or I don't. The only downside to it is the fact that I'm already on my knees, so I might as well put these knee pads in. So, because we're going to be kneeling right over there around that cylinder, I thought I'd show you these knee pads. They're cool. I really do like them. And they are easier to put in when your pants are off. But I'm not going to take my pants off. I'm going to leave them on. There we go. Almost half a bucket of dirt and grease. There we go. That's clean enough to manage for now. This covering, I'm going to cut it off. This is to protect the hydraulic hoses, but it's getting all torn up. Alright, so right here is the nut, essentially, that retains the actual rod into the cylinder. So we need to unscrew this while it's still in here, and it definitely looks like I'm not the first person in here because the locking tabs on these are not folded over at all. So this is a spanner wrench. It is meant to grab the grooves in the nut like this and unscrew it. So we need to twist it that way. I don't know if this is going to work or we're going to have to try the hammer and chisel method. Alright, we're trying hammer chisel. So I ground that to a flat, big wide flat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically put it right there on there. Hey, there it goes. Wasn't even very tight. Oh, sweet, it's loose. There's our pin. It's be in pretty good shape. See, I might need to pull the other pin on the other one, push it in, so I can twist both of them separate from the boom here. Not too bad. Quite a bit of rust around it, but honestly, I was expecting worse. Now, the cylinder go in. go. Should be able to tilt it that way. There we go. That's a long nut. Goodness gracious. I don't know if I've ever seen a nut this long. There we go. I don't know how much hydraulic fluid's in this thing still, but probably not a lot. There's what we need to fix right there. All right, not a real great sign here. If you can see, right in there above my finger, there is some scoring in the cylinder. It's mostly raised, but the material had to come from somewhere. So I'm not sure if it's honeable. It kind of looks like it is, like I could run a hone through there, flush the whole thing out, and be good. But if we look at the cylinder, in the back packing, it's been eating into the metal. This front side, this O-ring, was chewed up and cut in half. I am going to try and probably hone that out. I definitely don't want to just put a new kit in it. It's too scored up. All right, here's what I got set up. I got the pin just in the vise and the cylinder on there. There's two flats for a nut there, and there's a set screw. So try and get that set screw loose. Oh my, wow, it's loose. I was not expecting that. All right, this thing should screw off. Oh, you kidding me? It's loose. Wow. I don't know if that's a good or a bad sign. Not sure what this little thing is. Huh. See all that scoring? It's pretty deep too. Hopefully this will clean up. Well, that came apart real easy, so I'm going to go ahead and get the other one out. What do you think the chances are this nut's loose? I'm betting it is. Yep. Just hoping this one's better. But hope is not a tactic. Oh my. Holy mother. Wow. Huh. Dang. No wonder it leaked so bad. Wow. Check this out. How badly beaten that thing is. I am betting that this piece, whatever the heck it is basically came off whatever it's supposed to be on and just bashed the back of this cylinder into pieces. Wow, impressive. This feels loose already. Cylinder itself actually looks pretty good. The rod. So this rod is hollow. So it must have some sort of a return. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, it's only hollow to there. So it's as long as this is. Yeah, look at that thing. Thing is bashed up. And I can see indentations of this piece in the end there. Yeah, it's... I don't know if it's beyond saving or not. With some grinding, I ought to be able to get that cleaned up. The seals themselves will sit proud of this. I just don't know what this piece is. This little like flared nut thing. But I'm betting it's inside the cylinder in there because this, I don't have it, so I gotta go look. All right, here's the good swing cylinder. If you know what this piece does, let me know because I have no clue. And I'm kind of debating on whether or not I need it for the other cylinder. But for now, I'll have to deal with grinding this down and making it look a little smoother. Have to hone the inside of that out. But let's get the seals so that we at least have those. The gland nut. So it has an O-ring right around here, which is garbage. And there's a seal in there, and then the wiper. That's all this one has. Alright, I gotta do some thinking on whether or not I want to try and rebuild those cylinders or try and find some replacements. They do not look to be a standard cylinder of any kind. That hollow section at the back tail, there is a pipe that feeds into the back of it, and what I believe happened to the back of that one, slotted washer disc thing, whenever they put it back together, they put it on the back of the packing on the back, and when they fed the whole thing in, they didn't get it on that rod, and so it ended up bashing itself back and forth into the back of that packing nut and against the back of the cylinder. I could probably clean the nut up enough that it's not going to contact anything, and the sealing surfaces on where the packing seals are going to be okay. But I don't know how it seals against the back, and I don't know what that little washer, slotted washer thing does. So, you know, I don't even know if it's going to be easy to find a cylinder. It's probably going to be very difficult because these are not just a normal cylinder. It's very specific to the way that it fits in there, the way that it swings. So for now, we're going to jump over to this cylinder and get it taken apart. Oh, see, that's loose too. Oh. Well, I wasn't ready for that. Since this is just a bolt that was shoved in here, I'm cutting it off. Because I'll put a regular pin back in that, or a bolt and a nut. Get the other one out too. There, that'll hold the arm up so I can get that cylinder loose and keep this thing from swinging out and keep this thing from having the bucket smack the ground. It's not going to be fixed, but... You gotta be ready for is there might be a bunch of oil behind this, so it might go splash. Oh, nothing like a little baptism by oil. All right. I told him to be ready. All right. Still isn't ready. Oh, shit. It's heavy. All right, here's my setup for getting this nut loosened. I put the pin through that side of the cylinder. Got one of my big old monster adjustable wrenches. Put this on here, and then we're going to get some leverage. And here's one leverage. Sweet. It's moving. Comes off like that. That inner part lip seals right here along the back of the rod. And then these are our packings and seals. And then, be gentle with the chrome side. This Yep, this is the side that blew out on this one. I can see the seals in there. The packings are all falling apart. The back of the cylinder might be okay, but we're in here, we're rebuilding the whole thing. I went ahead and pulled that cylinder out, and as you saw, we got the baptism by oil in that one, so that was fun. So I need to pull the nut off of that upper reach cylinder. So the pin was the same size as this lower arm here, so we're going to do the same thing that we did on the other one. Put it here, use the big adjustable wrench and some leverage, and we'll get it off. Don't even need any leverage. It's coming right off. Here is our gland or gland nut, and what it contains is initially a wiper or a wiper seal, and what that does is it cleans the rod as it goes in and out. It keeps dirt, dust, debris, and water from getting down into the seal and rotting that seal out. And if you look right down in there, see that seal in there? It's literally crumbling to pieces. So that whole seal is completely shot. On here we have an O-ring with a backer ring, and what that does is that seals oil in the cylinder so that it can't escape past the threads here. This one looks to be pretty simple. This is the locking ring that you would bend the tabs over so that you can keep this from backing out. And then this is the rear piston. You've got these two sleeves, one on each side. And in the middle, there's another seal. Let's see if we can pick that out. It probably needs to just get cut and pulled out, but yeah, I'm just going to cut it. I don't usually like doing that. I like trying to keep them as solid as I can. These are not broken, by the way, so that's just how they pop in. They are not meant to be a sealing surface. It is a bearing type surface that rides on the inner cylinder so that the metal does not contact the inner side of the cylinder. So there's no reason that it matters that these have that slot in them. It does make for easy removal and installation of them, though, that's for sure. Yep, there's an O-ring. Yep, got an O-ring. That ring that was around it. And then it looks like these are two backer rings. So they're not, I thought it was a full solid piece, but there's two backer rings, an inner O-ring, and then that red sealing ring. And then we've got another seal inside of here. Now we got to get the inner. It's like an inner O-ring and two backer rings, maybe. Yep, backer ring on either side of an O-ring. A fairly simple one. I've seen some much more complicated ones. So that's everything for the back side of the nut, or the back side of the piston itself. There is some surface rust on this that we're going to clean up. O-ring and backer ring. Now we just have this wiper and the seal that's disintegrating. And this thing's not going to come out nicely. There's our, this is one of the main seals, and definitely the reason that it was pouring out hydraulic fluid out of this cylinder. So it looks something like that. Old, rotten garbage. Alright, now for this, we're going to put this in the vise so I can get some leverage to get that out. There we go. There's our wiper seal. It's actually a metal lined one, similar to an oil seal. Nothing else inside, so yeah, this is a very simple cylinder, so I'm actually pleased with that. Now all of these parts will get cleaned really well. Alright, this is the reach cylinder. Get it taken apart. And this one has 4 rings, Backhoe rings. Interesting, it's like one long squiggly one, and they had it sandwiched, the O-ring sandwiched in there. Or no, there's another one in there still. So that was on one side, and this was on the other. Like a long squiggly Backhoe ring. Yeah, the seal in this one is about as bad as that last one. I think I'm going to leave it in there and let him see it. I'm going to go to a local place that sells seals. We'll take this wiper seal out and go from there. Hold it out. We did all that so we could get access to this. So I can now pull this pin out, which will allow me to raise this up and get the rod out of that piston. Hopefully. Why don't you get in here and clean out as much of this gunk and debris and stuff in here, and then we're going to get a pan under there in case this does what I think it's going to do. And Into the cabinet. Good? All right, so the whole point of that was to get it so that we could take this cylinder out. We need to clean in here. There is just a mountain of dirt and debris. I got the nut loose, so we can get that off. We don't need to keep it captured. So we're gonna pull this pin, get this pin out. We should be able to slide the whole cylinder out, and we'll undo the hydraulics during that process. Got it? Yeah, kind of pull it out of the whole thing. Just gotta be careful because we're gonna. One hose is going to come out with it. The other hose is going to kind of get kinked until it gets past itself. So this kit here we got from Hercules Sealing Products, and essentially we're going to start capping everything with these plugs and caps so that we don't get anything in our hydraulic system that we don't want. All right, normally I wouldn't take the cylinder out, but we spent a bunch of time scraping and vacuuming out just this little section here, and we didn't even get near all of it. And if you look up in here, there have been birds' nests and who knows what else in there for decades. And so the plan is going to be to clean that whole section out, possibly replace these hydraulic hoses. I'm going to check them out, get all this cleaned out, get all that oil and grease kind of dealt with, because I think these cylinders, well, I guess, not that I think, I know these cylinders have got to have been leaking for years, and they just built up in these things. But we're gonna get it all clean, get everything ready, and next up we're gonna be rebuilding the hydraulic cylinders, so that should be fun. All right, this is the big dipper cylinder, and it was in amazing shape. There's a little tiny surface rust just right here, so I honed that out, and I've got the actual rod itself sitting here. I pinned it into this, and we're gonna hopefully be able to get this nut off. One of the best ways to hold a hydraulic cylinder when you're trying to get the nuts off of them is literally in the machine if you can make it work. So got this big old monster OTC wrench, and this is my small one. So this can do up to a 2 7/8, and then this is my big one. This can do up to 4 3/4 inch. And so these wrenches come in handy a lot when working on this heavy equipment. So here we go. There we go. Now, so you gotta get our piston off. Huh. Interesting. It's in more than one piece. So there's this top section. It's got the actual bearing surface. There's like a spacer. There's the rest of it. Almost like it broke, but there's no way that broke. Huh. Then we've got a spring, and then a washer. So that spring goes like that, and the washer on the end. Interesting. I don't understand why that's in 2 pieces like that. So this is also in 2 pieces as well, which is interesting. So I've got like the nut side of it, and then the gland side of it. It's weird. I'm gonna leave them together for now. This slips into 2 pieces. There's our sealing surface for the outside. It doesn't even have a an oil seal. Oh, here it is. Here's one. So that sticks out like that. Okay, interesting. Huh. Why'd they do it like that? There's our main seal right there. Yeah, that's bad. I'll have to bring you in here and check it out. See right down in there? See that seal? That seal is the main seal that keeps hydraulic oil in the cylinder and doesn't allow it to flow out when it's under pressure. So when it's broken like that, it's just completely crumbling. I know when we pull that out, it's just gonna fall apart. This outer oil seal that you see, the black one, that is just a dust seal. So that just keeps dust and debris from getting in. So this is an interesting one. I've actually never seen one that had this component, and I am betting these are there to dampen, and the spring is there to dampen. So when you're bringing the arm up, this is the cylinder that lifts the whole arm, and so instead of it just crashing, it has a cushion in there. Hence the spring ability. Hence this can float some, and I'm not sure if this is supposed to float or what goes on there, but we'll pull these seals off and we'll see what we're working with and see, make sure our kits match up. So a really big shout out to Hercules Seals. They have been amazing. This backhoe has been very difficult to find parts for, especially like hydraulic rebuild kits and cylinder seals. So they've been working with me. They had to custom create one of the kits. The rest of them they had in stock. So if you guys need seal kits for hydraulic cylinders or old machines, check these guys out. They have way more than what they even have on their website. So if you need something, reach out to them. We're going to verify, just make sure we got everything in this kit that we need. So, let's see here. That should be our wear band or wear ring. Those, and then this, I believe, is that whole setup right there. Here is our external wiper. Oh, this even has a nice brass like cover that protects the inner rubber from harder things. So I'm guessing that goes right there. Yep. This is our main seal. That is the one that'll go down in there, inside. The open end or the O-ring end of the seals always go towards where the pressure's coming from. So it'll go in like that. See, these three, I'm betting they go in here. Yep, right in there. So that's that. We've got this, goes there, that goes there, that goes here, that goes there. This O-ring goes right there. So now we need the outer seals and backer rings, these O-rings and backer rings. Let's just verify. They look about right. Yep. So on this piece there's a backer ring and an O-ring, a backer ring and an O-ring. O-rings and backer rings. Yep, I would say we've got everything we need. All these parts clean. We'll throw this back together. Here we go. There's that new surface. There's that inner O-ring. And then these little backer rings. Little lube on it. Just like that. And this goes over that. Let's get our little backer ring back in. O-ring. And our other backer ring. Alright, so that piece is ready to rock. See if we can pick out that, oh yeah, it's just coming in pieces, that main seal. There we go. So that's our outer dust seal. That is the main seal right there. It's just brittle, just breaks. So no wonder it wasn't holding any fluid in there. That'll do it. These O-rings, backer rings off. All right, the hardest seals to get in are these style. They're really hard. They got to fit down in this groove. And so there are these tools that essentially take seal and it inverts it. So, yeah, I can show you right here. They've got a little diagram. So basically you use the tool to invert it and it kind of folds it in like a kidney bean. And so I think this is the right size. Let's find out. Let's go up one more. Why they make these out of plastic? I have another set that I broke this piece off, because you're putting a lot of force on those. So by inverting it like this, it makes it so I can fit it in there without having to damage it. So let's get some oil in there. Drop it in and keep it flat when you're undoing it. And then it will just pop in there. Like that. Boom. Brand new solution to the problem we had right there. So these tools are amazing. This set did come from Hercules. I truly appreciate all of their help with this. We're going to go ahead and tap this on here. This is the wiper seal. Need to find actually I want to find a socket that's about that size before we do that. Go ahead and get the O-rings and wipers on. O-rings and backer rings, actually. Let's see, pressure side will be that far side, so we'll get a backer ring, and then an O-ring, like so. So backer ring, O-ring, and this side will go O-ring. Then backer ring, because we're going on backwards. There we go. So there's a little retaining bolt that goes right here. And I thought maybe this little piece floated in there, but what I think happened is this used to be one piece. It used to look exactly like that. And so that little nipple, that little like spot protruding out would line up with this notch here, and that would basically sit like that and keep this thing from spinning. At some point it sheared off, and I'm not exactly sure why that needs to be retained. I think it's due to the way that the cylinder is cushioned. So my goal is to make a new one. We're gonna I basically dug through my bolts and I found something that will thread in. This is not on a pressurized side. All the pressure will be back there. So the plan is we're going to take this bolt and we're going to take these two pieces, we're going to measure it, and all I really need to do is turn it down enough to be able to have that diameter at the end of this. Now I can insert my little homemade replacement piece. Maybe. All right, well that one's down. I'm gonna retract it a little bit. We'll get it put back up in there, but we're gonna do that later because of the fact that I need to clean better in that boom arm than we have so far. So at least that one's rebuilt. Let's keep going with all the other ones. Well, that wasn't good. All right, so I am working on getting the arm opened up a little bit more so I can get the hoses off. Well, as you saw, we almost lost the whole thing off of the jack stand, so I think I'm going to start by putting the rear tires back on, and then that'll give me a heck of a lot more stability that I need to be safe here, because that was not okay, not at all. But no harm, no foul yet, so we're good. For safety, we're just going to lower these jacks so there's something sitting there. And what I'm doing here is I'm lowering the whole thing to make it easier for me to get the rim and tire on. There we go. All right, we are back on all fours. I still need to lift this up, but before, I'm going to take the bucket off. Reduce some weight. There we go. All right, got the lines loose. Now we can get the cylinder off a little safer. This is the rod for the curl cylinder. There's a kind of a gash right there. And then right here, from about here all the way to about right there where you can't see, just past the camera view, it looks like at some point this rod contacted something. And so it was a little more pronounced. I've already started working on it. So I've got that dent there, there's a dent here, and then you see that line right there? There's a line of like spots where the chrome has actually come off. So I've been working my way, doing a little 220. We've got some 320 there, and then 400. I'm basically going as slow as I can, trying to knock down all the high spots. And then we're going to try a little magic in these pits to try and prevent them from getting worse and to build it up. Because when you get down past the chrome, like you are on some of these, there is no fixing that. The only thing you can do there is rechrome it or replace the rod. We're not doing either one of those, not at this point. The whole goal at this point is to assess the viability and the value of this machine. And so we're just going to start by rebuilding everything, knocking all this stuff down, try and build it up with some little magic sauce, and go from there. All right, I've got this cylinder here. This is the rod for the curl cylinder, and there's a big dent right there, and then something contacted it all the way through from about right here to about right there. So I have sanded that thing smooth as I could and gotten the majority of it out. All of these spots, if you can kind of see them, there's a few different ways that you can deal with spots on a rod that has been dinged. So these are the major three options that we've got for filling that little ding. And so this rod should be replaced, but this machine does not currently deserve that. It probably never will. So we're going to try and fill it. We're going to try and stopgap it. First option we have is CA glue or just super glue. And so that is an option. You put a little bit on the spot, you fill it in, and then you sand it smooth, and you basically get it to the point where there's no spot where the seal can ride over it. Another option is I raided my wife's fingernail polish cabinet looking for anything silver. The third option is JB Weld, just a classic JB Weld. I don't want to try that one first. I've done CA glue, and it holds up okay. I think we're going to try fingernail polish. I don't know. I want to give it a shot. Raise your hand if you want C-Charge Rapid. Okay. Now raise your hand if you want Silver Storm. Now raise your hand if you want Retrograde. All right, we're going to take a little glass cleaner. Just get the rod nice and clean. Get all the fingerprints off it and the oils off. We're going with Silver Storm because it looks the most chrome. Yep, about like that. About like that. Sure, why not? Sure. See, the goal is to hide it, and if you can't see it, then neither can I. Neither can the next guy, eh? Something about like that. Kind of filled it all in. We'll let it dry and we'll see what happens. Got some 400 grit and I'm put a little WD-40 on it. And we're just going to gently sand off the remaining. See how it does. There we go. I can barely feel that. Right there's a little bit extra. I'm going to do a little sanding there, but big difference. I'm going to leave that alone because this will also help protect it from starting to rust more there in that spot. This big dent right here is kind of unavoidable. I can't really do much for that. I tried to fill it in, it just didn't really work. That's okay though. This line feels way better. All right, let's disassemble the dipper / the reach cylinder. So that's all done. Come on. The main seal in here is completely garbage. It's just going to chunk into pieces like that. I'm going to go ahead and disassemble the curl cylinder as well. And then on the piston, same thing. Wear band, outer seal, O-ring, and then 2 split rings. Got an O-ring, 2 backup rings. All right, I'm gonna go get all these cleaned up. I would not advise installing it that way. And I put the pin in backwards. Cool. There we go. I don't remember if that's flipped over or not. I think the hoses should be out here on top. It'd make it a heck of a lot easier to change when they blow. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with.
Move it?
Yeah. Think it's jammed in there enough, or is it going to slip out?
I think it might slip.
Alright.
Not really jammed much.
Which way are we twisting?
This way.
Okay. I don't have any control of that if I'm pushing from here. Alright, it's about to come down. That would. Is it in? It's up. Not at all. Yep. All right. Hammer it. We're gonna hammer it a little past because I don't think we've got the.
Oh, did I hit you?
No, I wasn't. I was touching you. Sorry. Go a little further.
I went a little.
Okay. Now we can line the bolt up. Hammer. I hear a loud bang or boom, run. Line up. Here we go. Don't mind me.
Just being awkward.
Hey, Josh. Somebody's got to be, right? Might as well be the big brother. So what's the plan after we get it down? We need the pin to come out.
It stays pretty good if I just hold it there.
Okay.
So we use.
We need to get it further though.
Yeah, I know.
Or I can get, here, let me get a different bar. Let me get this started together. It won't matter, because at least we have half that we know we have to get the cylinder to here.
Yeah. You grab one thing.
Yeah. Everybody's gonna tell us we should have just undone the hydraulic line. And they would be right. Let's just do that.
You know what we could do?
Please enlighten me.
Just tip this up, the bucket.
True. Good point. But I'd have to lift the whole thing.
Yeah, just
With the bucket, with that. All right, yes, do that.
okay. Pull it out. Pull it out. Get ready to pin.
Hang on, before we do that, let's line this up.
Win on both sides.
Yep, good on both sides. Bueno, very nice, very nice. I believe it is on one of these sides.
Good.
All right, get out of the way. Well, we've come a long way on this old backhoe. It needs a lot more still, but you know, getting all those hydraulic cylinders rebuilt and ready to use again is absolutely awesome. Big downside is the two swing cylinders are still out of commission. I either need to find replacements or we need to completely take the barrels and replace the barrels and possibly make a new nut because my lathe is not metric and so I don't have the ability to thread the new barrel in a metric thread like I need to. I could really use your help sourcing a couple of replacements. If you know where I can either buy a set of new ones, that would be amazing, or even some used ones that don't look like they've got ridiculous hours. And maybe even ones that have ridiculous hours, I don't care. Anything would be better than what I've got. Need to get those. That's a major issue why this machine has kind of stalled throughout a couple of years of not working on it, because this thing's been in this shop for probably 2.5, 3 years. That's why you saw the entire progress of the walls and everything else change around it, because once I saw those hydraulic cylinders, the swing cylinders having so much of an issue, I just haven't had time to deal with it. Got a lot of other projects, and this got pushed to the back burner. I'd like to get this thing out of here and usable. That's going to be a major component. So, I don't know, I've got some thinking to do on that one, but next up we're going to do all the hydraulic cylinders for the loader, there's a steering cylinder for the front axle, and both outriggers are going to get rebuilt. After that, we've got other miscellaneous things, but at that point, you know, we'll be done with hydraulic cylinders other than the two swing cylinders. But once we get the hydraulics gone through, we're going to take it out and put it to some use. I just want to see how well it works, see if we've got any other major issues. But hey, for an old backhoe abandoned in the field to where we've got it to this point, back at the workshop, almost ready to be able to be used, I am totally pumped to have it, totally excited to have saved it. Still need some TLC though. It's a fine, beautiful morning. We're going to take a few of the dogs out for a walk. We've got Nala, Maisie, and Maverick. So I almost never have a leash or a collar on any of the dogs. And usually they want to run off, 100 feet, a couple hundred feet. A lot of times they just want to be right there with you. They're curious, they're animals. They've got their own minds. And I love that about Weimaraners. So if you don't know, these are Weimaraners. It's originally a German hunting dog. Originally bred to hunt bear and boar. They would have them in a pack. It would scare up an animal. The bear would run up a tree. They'd find a way to corner a boar, which is like a big wild pig. And then the hunter would come along and he would shoot it. And then they would take it back and eat it or do whatever they're going to do with it. But they have become bird dogs, essentially, in the hunting world. Bird dogs with regards to pointing, with regards to retrieval. I used to hunt with a couple of my old ones, but these days my Weimaraners are just pets. We love them. They're so smart. All they want to do really is to please their owners. They're people dogs. Come on, guys. Go. Come on, Maisie. An excellent way to wear them out. Long walks in the woods. Let them run. And when they're trained enough, they don't need to be on a leash or a collar. Just let them be dogs. Get off the beaten path here a bit. So all I gotta do to get them back, just give a quick whistle, and they come right back. Good girl, Nala. Good girl, Maisie. Good girl, Nala. Good girl. Come here. Good girl. Hi, buddy. Come here, Nala. Come here, Nala. Good girl. Come here, Maisie. Good girl, Maisie. Good. Maisie, come here. Maisie, come. Good girl. Good girl. All right, let's go. So this big tank here is soon going to become a bridge right here. The ends are going to get cut out, water will flow through it, be set right there, and then a bridge will be built across it. There was one here, and it has since washed out just due to the rain. There's a big creek right here. And so it used to be an access to get from this side to that side of the valley, but that washed away. Come on, Maisie. You're a good boy. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Hi. Hi. Good boy. Good boy. Good girl, Maisie. Come here, girl. Come here. Yeah. Good girl. Good girl, Nala. Good girl, Nala. Good girl, Nala. Yeah. Yeah. So for those that don't know, there are two colors. Nala is blue. She's the dark charcoal color. And Maisie and Maverick are both silver, the tan color. They are super beautiful dogs. Super intelligent. Awesome dogs to be around. Tons of energy. If you're not prepared for that, they'll be the worst dog you've ever had. But now we're on the back side of our dog run, which you see this fence here. This fence is in all the way there, all the way up that way, over to here, and all the way up, and then Salvage Workshop is up the top of the hill there. And so there's about an acre or two of property. Half of it's in the woods, half of it's in the woods back here, half of it's up front, closer to the shop. And it just makes it a nice place for the dogs to be able to run and get exercise without having to take them outside and in the woods every day. And when you have so many of them, they tend to exercise each other. They run and they play. They tend to actually literally develop a pack, very similar to what you'd see in the wild with wolves. Here's the creek bed. Obviously it is dry at the moment. Haven't had much rain as of lately. So it's more of a runoff creek than an actual waterway. Come on, Maisie! Maisie is the one that will literally gray ghost us. It's one of the nicknames for Weimaraners, the gray ghost. Maisie! Never runs off too far, but again, like I said, these are animals, they have minds of their own. There she is. Come on, girl. Come on, Maisie. Come on. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah. All right. Let's go. Well, I would like to truly thank you guys for watching the videos here at Salvage Workshop. It means the world to me. Honestly, your support is the only thing that makes this channel possible, so if you haven't already subscribed, I would truly appreciate it if you did. I love reading your comments. That's all I got for you on this one. We got lots more on the backhoe, got lots more on a lot of the other projects coming soon, including Old Red. You guys have a great one.